Welcome to a deadline stream for Game Week 29. And yeah, this is going to be such a weird week. I mean, just look at my starting lineup. Lewis Dunk. I mean, the whole thing, even Son, he's a big doubt for the game. And to be honest, even though I am an Arsenal fan, from an FPL perspective, it would be very, very good if Son did manage to play this game because not only does he have a very good recent record against Aston Villa, but yeah, you can just see I said this yesterday, just one of Kane or Son missing out, and Spurs are a completely different team. And yeah, at the moment they just look absolutely bang average. And yesterday, I mean, what even happened in the Europa League? The kind of good thing about it is that a lot of people are going to be put off captaining Kane, but I still think, despite him blanking 4 games in a row away from home in the Premier League, I do think that Kane can still deliver, and he has got a very good record against Aston Villa, as I said before. So thank you everyone who has joined in. I'm going to get your messages up now, and we are going to go through all your questions. But yeah, I appreciate it. Peter says, morning from the US, this game week is becoming a headache. Yeah, I just can't wait to get rid of it, to be honest. And game weeks 30 onwards should be far more interesting. And a lot of people that are free hitting this week, you can still gain quite a few points anyway. A lot of people are going to be taking hits, so you're going to get an advantage from that already. But there's not too much to choose from, if I'm honest, especially with Spurs and Arsenal looking pretty shaky, and they're very inconsistent teams. That's why they are where they are, to be honest. West Ham are the best team this season so far in terms of the players we can choose from, but it is what it is. Welcome, Genius Gamer. Should I take a hit for Creswell this game week? I probably wouldn't. You might as well just get him in next week because it's just the way I see it. He could get an assist, he could maybe even get a clean sheet, but I do expect Arsenal to score a goal. So if you do take a -4, yeah, it will probably be for someone who doesn't play, but it's going to be difficult for you to make up those points. So that's just how I see it. So yeah. Welcome, Soren. Thank you for joining in. Apoman says, is Dallas to Dawson already? Dallas to Dawson already have Soufal good if it allows me to do Sterling to Alba and then later on Martinez to Meslier. I wouldn't do Martinez to Meslier, for example, because you want to add players. You don't want to just get rid of them. And Martinez has a good fixture in Game Week 30, so I probably wouldn't. Meslier is more likely to keep a clean sheet. I'm probably going to outscore Martinez, at least on paper. But I wouldn't do that. But as for the other moves, yeah, Sterling to Aubameyang makes sense. It's a good short-term punt for a few weeks. And if you do have a wild card, you can get out of that. And then, yeah, Soufal... yeah, it's fine if you double up on West Ham defence, but I wouldn't do Dallas to Dawson. And if you already have a lineup, then it's calm. You don't have to make sideways moves where you're just getting rid of one blank Game Week 29 player for another. You want to get rid of players who don't play at all for one of those Game Week 29 players. Ismail says, currently have 8 starters, can get rid of Salah, Gundogan, Vardy and field a full 11, but is it worth taking the risk because I will want them back in the next week, or do I take them out on Wildcard next week? Well, to be honest, with Gundogan, I understand that concern, and even Vardy. But Salah, I mean, he's blanked in his last 4 games. He's got 4 goals in his last 15 games in the Premier League. So you're not really missing on too much. Of course, I do expect Liverpool to turn things around and even Salah, but I'm not too sure. You can always wildcard, not necessarily in Game Week 30. I'd probably say Game Week 31 because a lot of the teams, for example, Leeds, they have a good fixture now in Game Week 29, but they also have a good one in Game Week 30. So why would you want to get rid of them? In my opinion, you want to get rid of them in Game Week 31 when their fixtures really turn for the worse, and they're not the only example, but they're obviously the most popular one. Soren says, I'm captaining Dunk with 11 starting players. Yeah, to be honest... Dunk is actually someone I've actually considered captaining, and that kind of speaks volumes about this week. But yeah, Dunk could actually do very well. He has that attacking threat. I've already discussed this many times before, and I've always said he is the number 1 Brighton defender for me, and he proved it against Southampton. But it's not like I expect him to score yet again. He just scored. It would be very strange for him to score in back-to-back games, but he's still got that in his locker. Really, from him, you'd be expecting 6 to 8 points, but who knows? You never know. Welcome, Agaf. Thank you for joining in. Welcome, Chris El Famoso. Wanja, hello, Dylan. Captaining Bale. Yeah, I mean, he was close to scoring against Dynamo Zagreb yesterday. And, yeah, I don't know. Bale is just very hot and cold. He can just be electrifying and score 2-3 goals, very explosive, gets double digits, or he'll just do absolutely nothing and be the nearly man. Move Stones or Cancelo to who, says Kurt. Well, it depends. I don't know who you have already. I don't know how your team is for Game Week 29. If you don't really have too many defenders for Game Week 29, then Dunk would be the standout in my opinion. And then, yeah, Stones or Cancelo. Cancelo's more likely to get attacking returns, but to be honest, Stones has got more this season, I believe. And Stones is actually significantly cheaper. But yeah, it could go either way. I'd probably I don't know, maybe I'd keep Stones, but I'm not sure about that one. It could be either one of them. Just keep one of them. And if you have a good enough bench, you should be fine. Both of them are unlikely to get substituted on for that 1-pointer, which is obviously the kind of the nightmare. Ali says, Stones and Gundogan to Dawson and Lingard for a -4, or Son to Lingard instead of Gundogan because I have Bale who is covering up for Son if he is not playing. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Well, I'm not sure because there is a chance that Son actually plays. I think Mourinho was pressed on it yet again, and he actually didn't really reveal much about Son. So there is a chance that he does play. A very small one though. But the way that Spurs are playing, this is kind of like a last chance saloon, and they just need to get results. And if they get yet another or deliver another shocking performance, that's 2 on the bounce now, then they're in trouble. But yeah, I'd probably go with the Stones and Gundogan to Dawson Lingard if you have the wild card, and then you can maybe bring one of them back in for Game Week 31. Dr. Swan says, would Dyer play? Long time no see. I had some big exams. Yeah, hopefully your exams went well, Dr. Swan. And I think Dyer would play. I mean, I'm not sure. I think it's Sanchez and Alderweireld. I think that's the main partnership. I don't think Dyer will. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. In Europa League, Dyer would be the man, but yeah, not in this, I think. Yeah, man, move Martinez out for Mendy. I think in the future, yeah, I agree, Soren, but for this week, yeah, obviously not. Ismail says, first 11, Martinez, Creswell, Dallas, Burn, Gundogan, Soucek, Salah, Rafinha, Kane, Vardy, Watkins, bench, Cancelo, Mount, and Digne. Which transfers to make? One transfer left, but I can take hits. Interesting. You got the double Brighton defence. Yeah, your defence is pretty sorted, to be honest. So you're mainly looking at the midfield. I'd probably, get rid of Salah and maybe go for a Lingard or an Aubameyang. That's what I would do. And if you wanted to take an additional hit, you could get rid of Gundogan or Vardy, depends on what you want. But I'd probably go for a midfielder instead. So yeah, I'd do that. Maybe Lingard and Aubameyang come in for those two. Peter says, I have transferred out Cancelo to Dallas. Would you still take a hit? Salah out for Lingard or Bale? Lingard fixtures aren't great, and Bale was like a kind of surprise egg. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, pretty much, that's true. I'd probably still go for Lingard. I think he's a better captaincy option this week. I mean, I might be completely wrong about that, but yeah, I'd probably go for Lingard. And would you take a hit? Cancelo to Dallas? I mean, Cancelo does have Leicester, doesn't he, in Game Week 30, but I'm not sure if I would take a hit. But yeah, you know what? Just considering how this week is, if you back Dallas to get that clean sheet or some attacking returns, then yeah, go for it. But the problem with Dallas for that hit, it's very good for this week and next week. But after that, you want to get rid of him because he's got 3 very tough fixtures in a row. Genius Gamer says Lingard for a hit. Depends for who, but fair enough. It could work out. And Lingard also can do well in Game Week 30. Then he has a few tough fixtures around Game Week 31, 32, 33. And then for the rest of the season, West Ham have very good fixtures. So yeah, I think Lingard for a hit does make sense. Peter says, I have 9 players, including Bamford and Grealish. Yeah, I think Grealish hasn't fully participated in full training, so it's very unlikely for him to start. He might be on the bench, but I would be very surprised if he started the game. After the international break, that's when you would expect Grealish to come back in. Soren says Bamford should play. Yeah, he should. Bielsa basically said he had a dead leg, but he should be fine unless something happens. But yeah, should be fine. Soren says, thoughts on Kabak in UCL Fantasy? Well, I'll be honest, I've already kind of, even before teams got eliminated, I was already thinking about, potential moves and stuff. And to be honest, from Liverpool, I'm only interested in Jota, maybe a Robertson or an Arnold, but probably not. Yeah, I don't know about Kabak, and I would expect Madrid to score, especially with how Liverpool have been this season. But when Van Dijk comes back, well, I don't think it's going to happen this season, but when they have more people coming back, Liverpool assets will look better. I'm not sure about Kabak, though, I'll be honest. No problem, Ismail. Dr. Swan, outside of FPL question, Arsenal should sign... Oh, no. Yeah, I've seen that thing before in Leipzig. Fast striker with good dribbling skills. Yeah, I've seen that stuff before. All this trying to bait people out. I have to be careful. It's happening now on this. Areola or Martinez this game week? Asks Singh. Areola for me, definitely. I think he's more likely to keep a clean sheet. But then again, you look at Spurs, and away from home, they're quite toothless. And Leeds are actually very good away from home. So maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just prefer Areola this week. Marco says, hey Dylan, nice week for us, bar the ball face yesterday here. Which of the 2 scenarios would you do? Transfer in Dunk and or Veltman, Bale, Bamford and Alba will make 2 transfers. I'd transfer in Dunk, definitely, out of the 2. That's just my opinion on it. And because of Burns' potential injury, I think Veltman's positioning isn't going to be the same, which is going to not obviously be ideal. You want him at that right wing-back spot. And then out of the others, probably Bamford. Yeah, but if not, Aubameyang. I prefer him over Bale, really, looking at how things have gone recently. Sufo and Dallas out. Cancelo and Stones. A nice move. For this game week, yeah, and if it's not for a hit, but obviously after that, at least just bear in mind, after game week 30, Leeds' fixtures turn very, very sour. So bear that in mind. But yeah, those look like two good moves. Odegaard or Rafinha for the next two game weeks. Planning to wildcard in game week 31. I'd say Rafinha because he's got Sheffield United in game week 30. And Odegaard would have Liverpool in game week 30. So yeah, I think Rafinha. But for this game week only, maybe Odegaard's actually a good shout. He's not someone I've mentioned too much, even in my best free hit team video. But yeah, I think Odegaard's pretty good, to be honest. No problem, Peter Peters. Fellas, like the stream. Yeah, appreciate it. Like the stream if you do enjoy it. And smash the subscribe button too. Who will score more points, Veltman or Bale? To be honest, the way things are going, I'd probably say Veltman, but Brighton always fail to deliver. That's the way I see it. One free transfer, Dunk or Creswell. Dunk for this game week after. Long term, basically, Creswell's by far the better option, but for this game week specifically, Dunk for sure. Remove Son or Salah to afford the Kane move. Probably Salah. The reason why is because Son should be back for the game week 30 fixture against Newcastle, and Salah would have Arsenal. And also, there is still a small chance that Son plays this week, and if you get rid of him and he does really well, you're going to be kicking yourself. So I'd get rid of Salah. Marco says, yeah, was always thinking Bamford and Dunk. Only the injury to Bamford that put me off a bit. Worth taking the risk that he will start. Do you think he will? Yeah, as I said earlier, he will start. I'm fairly certain of that because Bielsa himself downplayed the injury and he said it's just a dead leg. He should be good to go to start. He said it himself, so check that out if you don't believe me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. If there was still like a little injury doubt or whatever, then I'd probably say, you know what, just don't risk it and go for Aubameyang. But I prefer Bamford. Sorry if I'm asking about UCL Fantasy on an FPL deadline stream. Ronaldo, Romero, Hummels, and Llorente to Mbappe, Ramos, Azpilicueta, and Jota. Good moves. Yeah, they all look good. I'm not too sure about Ramos, though, because I don't know. It's just I don't really trust Real Madrid defensively to spend that much money on the defender, but the other moves look very good. And Jota, looking at him, Azpilicueta or Rudiger or Mendy, I'm looking at some of those players too. So yeah, they all make sense. Mbappe as well. Would you change anything from the free hit template you made a couple of days ago? To be honest, no. And in that video, I showed you like an 11 that I would probably go for, but there's still some differentials that I'd be tempted to go for, like even a Trossard or a Pascal Grosch, and even Odegaard, players like that, or Nicola Pepe, who I did highlight in that video. If he does start, I do think Pepe could do extremely well. He did that last season against West Ham, so yeah, that's something to consider. But most of it, I would pretty much stick to. I wouldn't triple up on Spurs attack, definitely not. I'd probably go for Kane for sure, and then I'm not sure, maybe, yeah, well, Son's an injury doubt, so I'm not sure if I'd go for him. Donny says, sell Diaz and Gundogan to Odegaard or Lingard, and Tierney for a -4 this game week only. I mean, for a -4, those moves do make sense. There is a bit of a clash there, obviously. You're getting Lingard and Tierney, so one of them could blank. It is likely. But you never know. But yeah, I agree with that. I would actually take that -4, if not just 2 free transfers and save that -4. Rafinha will outscore everyone this game week, even Messi. Well, yeah. Not sure about that one, but I did bring in Rafinha this week, actually. That's a good point in that. I brought him in for Gundogan. A bit of a heavy heart there because Gundogan's been doing just exceptional, even in Champions League, but I did bring in Rafinha for that extra Game Week 29 player. Also like his fixture in Game Week 30. And he's captaincy material in both weeks. So yeah, Rafinha, really like the look of him. Kurt says, I was thinking of selling Stones for Dallas, making it triple from Leeds. Is it a good idea? Well, it makes sense. You're adding another Game Week 29 player. Also has a very good fixture in Game Week 30. After that, you'd get rid of him. But for the next 2 game weeks, looks very good. Ismail says, Malpai, Antonio, Bamford. Bamford for me from those 3. He scored and got 2 assists against Fulham early in the season. Malpai would be last. But then again, to be fair, I think Malpai did score a penalty against Newcastle earlier this season in a 3-0 win. But I'd probably go for Bamford. But one thing to consider, actually, and I always talk about XG, and how can we not mention Brighton? Over the last 4 game weeks, Brighton have the 2nd best expected goals conceded and the best expected goals. So maybe a Malpai is good. I didn't give him maybe enough credit or attention in my best free hit video. He could still do well, and I already discussed his record against Newcastle, at least recently, so he could do something there. Obviously, that Brighton XGC is very, very tempting, and you would hope that they deliver finally against Newcastle, but we'll have to wait and see. I've gone Cowboy and used my wildcard. Fair enough. I'll be honest. I've seen some people saying, "Oh, I've been struggling to make a wildcard team this week," and it's not surprising because you've got the fixture swings in 31 to think about. You've got future double game weeks, which, to be fair, haven't come into the question yet. You've got blank game week 33 for Man City, Spurs, and you've also got blank game week 29 to think about and try find a balance between everything. So it's a difficult week to wildcard, but it could still pay off. So good luck with that. Sam Smith says, should I transfer out Stones or Cancelo? I think you asked me this already, and to be honest, either one of them, I would probably say I'd keep Stones because he's slightly cheaper, and if you want someone nailed from City defence, go for Edison or Diaz. That would be my answer for that. Watkins over Bamford on a free hit. On a free hit, I'd still go for Bamford because he's likely to play, and despite Watkins having a good record against the top six, which I did discuss in previous videos, I just prefer Bamford. Yeah, Kane played 120 minutes in Europa. Captain Lingard or Rafinha maybe? Yeah, that's the thing. So there's a lot of reasons why you could captain someone else. So there's no right or wrong here. Kane is going to be the most heavily captained player by far, even now. But more people are going to be going away from him because of reasons like you said. 120 minutes in Europa. Blanking in the last 5 away games, 4 in the league. And yeah, just Spurs look very, very poor. They tend to do better at home. And there seems to be a disharmony there. So there are actually arguments for that. Aston Villa also, you look across the season, very good defence. Recently, not too sure. Let me have a look actually. So over the last 4 game weeks, oh dear, yeah, they're pretty much mid-table for expected goals conceded with 4.9. So they have been a bit lucky there. But yeah, I actually do expect Spurs to score 1 or 2. I'd be very shocked if they don't. And if they don't produce a response, then, unless Mourinho wins the Carabao Cup, his time is pretty much, the writing's on the wall at one point. But yeah, Captain Lingard or Rafinha, good options. Lingard was my vice captain before, then I brought in Rafinha, now he's my vice captain. They're great captaincy options. If you have a feeling about one of them, go for it. But I'm just captaining Kane, not out of fear, but I actually still think he's going to do very well. And whenever someone's out of form or a team is out of form and people just like, oh no, don't captain him or whatever, then they do really well. So I'm just going to go with Kane. Do you think Barnes will be back for Game Week 32 for the nice fixtures? If not, should we go for Maddison? I'll be honest, I think, yeah, Barnes will be back by Game Week 32 to 34. I'd be surprised if he isn't. There can be a setback, you never know. But yeah, on a wild card, I actually have Barnes in there in a draft that I made. And obviously, it depends on if he does recover or not, but he's someone I would definitely want. Even there's Maddison, if he returns, and Iheanacho, he's actually an option, but I would prefer the midfielders, if I'm honest. Gross or Trossard? The problem with Pascal Gross is that he sometimes plays in a deeper role. He plays in a lot of positions for Brighton. So Trossard would be maybe the better pick, the more safer pick. But Pascal Gross, I don't know, there's something about him that I think he can do extremely well this week, especially against Newcastle. But yeah, I'd probably say Trossard, but very tough one. Marco says Leeds are a little concerning that they haven't scored in 3 games, but I think they'll do the move. I will do the move. Anyone that you would transfer in ahead of him? Oh, I'm guessing you're talking about Bamford, aren't you? Well, that's the thing. Just like with Kane, yeah, Leeds are out of form, especially offensively recently, but they can still bring that back in a game. And they're facing Fulham, who, to be fair, have been good recently, but form changes and it depends. Last time both teams played each other, 4-3? A fantastic game. If only we got something like that in this game week, that would be great. But yeah, I still think Bamford's a great choice, and even Rafinha and Dallas. And if not, there's Meslier, who could do very well. But yeah, I still think Leeds' assets are good. Obviously, though, there is the chance that Fulham do they act as party poopers in this game week. Ninad says, just get 5 defenders from Chelsea and UCL Fantasy, you're set for 100 points. Well, I'm not sure about that because Porto are pretty decent, and you could argue Juventus at least have better quality than Chelsea. But yeah, I think Porto can actually go to the semi-finals for sure. I would expect Chelsea to go through, but I wouldn't be surprised if Porto did the unthinkable in a way. But I actually am thinking of getting 1 or 2 Chelsea defensive assets and maybe Sergio Oliveira as that midfielder. But yeah, that's just something I'm thinking about. Karen says, hello mate, just tuned in. Who should I captain, Rafinha or Kane? Plus any update on the availability of Jack Grealish? As I said earlier, Jack Grealish hasn't featured in full team training, so it's very unlikely that he will start the game. If anything, he'll be on the bench and maybe have a cameo, but you're mainly looking at game week 30 after the international break for him to come back. And as for captaining Rafinha or Kane, if you want to go different and you think that Kane and Spurs, they're going to struggle against Villa to break them down, and especially after the 120 minutes at the Europa League, then yeah, go for Rafinha. But otherwise, if you do back Kane and Spurs to turn things around, at least in this game, then yeah, just go for Kane. I think he's the safer pick, but Rafinha maybe the more exciting pick, and yeah, he could definitely do well. But then again, you look at Rafinha, as we've been discussing before. Leeds are out of form offensively. They're not scoring goals in the last 3 games. You'd back one of those teams to break the duck. Who will it be? Who knows? It could be both of them. Get Dallas in for 9 players or roll the transfer to prevent hits in future game weeks. I'm not sure if you have your wildcard available, Axe the Star, but I think Dallas for this week is fine, especially if it isn't for a hit, as I said before. And game week 30, he also has Sheffield United, so he's good for the next 2. After that, you can wildcard him out if you have that available. Cancelo to Creswell or Dawson? Taking price into account, I'd still say Creswell because he has the upside of being on set pieces, the assist potential, and he's someone that you could pretty much have as a set and forget for the rest of the season. So yeah, Creswell for me. Wildcard so far is Mendy, Sanchez, Cancelo, Dallas, Creswell, Dunk, Rudiger, Jota, Bale, Fernandes, Lingard, Rafinha, Watkins, Antonio, Kane. Thoughts? Be nice. It's a decent balance between Game Week 29 and the rest of the season, but I'll be honest, not sure. If I was wildcarding, I probably would just have Kane or maybe just one Spurs attacker. The reason why I have triple myself, as I already discussed before, was a short-term move to attack the next few game weeks, and so far it hasn't paid off. We'll have to wait and see how it continues, but yeah, I like Dunk, at least for this game week. After that, you probably want him out. Rudiger's very good, and having that double Chelsea defence looks very, very good. You've got that double Brighton defence going on as well with Sanchez. You've got Cancelo, Dallas. It's pretty good. Jota's also probably the one you'd want to have from Liverpool attack. So it makes perfect sense. I like that. Bruno, kind of, you don't have to say anything about him. Lingard's good. That's a good team you have there. Just bear in mind that with Rafinha, also in Game Week 31, his fixtures turn, you might want to get rid of him. And Watkins is very, very hit and miss, but it's a good team. Very good team. You got any news on Son? Well, that's the thing. As I said before, Kurt, Mourinho basically revealed nothing about Son. Nothing. So we know absolutely nothing about it. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Dunk or Kane for captain on a free hit. Well, just as I said with Rafinha, if you want to be different and you back Brighton's defence, then just go for Dunk. But otherwise, you want to go for the safer option and, in a way, protect your rank or whatever, then yeah, go for Kane. But yeah, I think Dunk is still a good option this week. You know, don't be scared by it. It's a good option. William says, hey again, Dylan, thinking of going Son to Bale and either Stones or Cancelo to Dallas, then 9 Game Week 29 players. Stones or Cancelo out? I'd probably say Cancelo out because, yeah, maybe he's slightly more likely to come on as a substitute or to be substituted early, should I say. So, yeah, I'd probably say Cancelo out. Also, you save plenty of money. Stones is significantly cheaper. And if you want that nailed City defender, you can get Diaz or Edison. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Aurier still in my team. Help. Out for -8 for Dunk. Well, I'm not sure about that because he could play this game week. And, yeah, I don't know about that. There's a chance of him playing in Game Week 29. Obviously, I'll be honest, I wouldn't want Aurier, but he could play in this week. So you don't want to get rid of a player for a -4 for another blank Game Week 29 player. Obviously, there is the possibility of Doherty starting in the Premier League now, at least for this game week, because Aurier did play a significant amount of minutes in the Europa League. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. Oh, yeah, who's on your bench? Good question. Well, it doesn't matter anyway, but Pope, Stones, Digne, and Bruno are on my bench. Yeah, I mean, imagine benching Bruno Fernandes, third sub. I've never benched Bruno, by the way, not even when they face City. Keep Salah or KDB for Game Week 30. Feel like KDB could be benched that week. Well, that's the thing. If you feel that's going to happen, then I'd bench or get rid of KDB. But to be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not really feeling Salah or KDB, to be honest. I would rather have Jota and Gundogan, but that's just the way I see it. But yeah, I'd probably, if you have your wildcard in play, then yeah, I'd get rid of Salah, probably. Play Martinez or Areola? I would play Areola. No problem, Soren. Yeah, Mickey, my bench is on screen. Suggestions on differential defenders this game week? That's a good question. I mean, I think Anderson from Fulham is a good differential. I discussed him already in my best free hit team. I know that Leeds could score and break that duck that they've had recently, but he's a good differential. Veltman is still a good differential. Ben White. Lewis Dunk is still a differential. Let's see his ownership. I think it's gone up to... yeah. When I got him, he was like, what, 5% owned or something? But he's 11%. Still slightly a differential. If he does well, your rank will go up. Let's put it that way. Apart from that, I'll be honest, not too sure. I wouldn't back Spurs defenders. Definitely not. Maybe Kieran Tierney. Lascelles, if you want to go there. But yeah, I'd mainly be looking at Brighton. And then with Leeds, the main defender you'd want is Dallas, so I'm not going to say him. Cresswell as well from West Ham, probably not going to say him either. So yeah, I'd probably say Lascelles, Dunk, Veltman, and Ben White, and Anderson, obviously, from Fulham. So those would be the kind of defenders I'd look at as a differential. Hi, bro. Cresswell or Aina? Oh yeah, he's another one, Aina. I'd probably go for Cresswell. Good luck, bro. Good luck to you as well. Thank you for that. Is 6 players, 7 with Son, but probably won't play bad for this game week? I mean, I pretty much said you should aim to, for 7 basically. So I think that's fine. 6 obviously is just 1 short. As long as the quality of players there, Mickey, is good, then yeah, that's fine. Off topic, is Instagram down for you too? I'll be honest, I haven't been on Instagram today, so I'll check that later. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. KT, Dylan with Son likely not to play. Wouldn't Lucas or Odegaard be an option? Yeah, definitely. I'll be honest though, from Spurs, it's either Kane, Bale or nothing. That's the way I see it. So I wouldn't get Lucas in. He's very inconsistent. Odegaard though, as I said earlier, definitely an option. I'd definitely say he's up for it. Is taking Rudiger out to get Dunk, then getting him back before next game week silly or okay? What are your thoughts? My process is that I brought him for 4.6 and sell him for 4.6, so not losing money. Well, if there's no one else to sell, so basically the rest of your defenders actually are playing this game week, then fair enough. But if you have someone else that isn't really looking like a good option long term and doesn't play this week, then get rid of them instead, because Rudiger is someone I've got my eye on too. Best starting 11 for free hit this week. I've already made a video on this, Super Sound. Yeah, I made a video on it, and I'd pretty much stick with the same thing. Maybe just deviate away from that triple Spurs and go for more differential. So in goal, I'd go for Sanchez from Brighton. I'd go for Dunk in defence with Dallas. Third defender, I'd probably go for either Cresswell or Tierney. It's up to you how you think that game's going to go. Lingard definitely in there. I'd still go for Rafinha and probably Bale. With Son, if I knew he was going to play, then I'd go for Son over Bale. And then, yeah, Aubameyang, I'd say, if you back him to start. And then up front, yeah, I'd say Bamford, Kane and Antonio. I'd probably go with something like that. And if you want to go differential, instead of one of those midfielders I said, maybe go for a Pepe or an Odegaard. And if not, there is Trossard and Pascal Grosch. So it's up to you how you want to go, but something like that I'd go for, definitely. Aubameyang in for a -4, asked Ben. For who though? That's the question, but maybe that is good. If it's for someone who doesn't play this week and someone you don't really mind not having in game week 30 onwards, then yeah, go for it. Yeah, Gabe says Instagram is down. All Facebook platforms are. That's a bit weird. Hopefully no hacking there. Final free hit team: Sanchez, Dunk, Captain, Tierney, Dallas, Aubameyang, Bale, Rafinha, Lingard, Trossard, Kane, Watkins. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And you've got a decent bench there, obviously. You've got enough money to have that really good bench. That looks pretty good. Dylan, when will you play your wildcard? Game week 31? Yeah, as I've said before, KT, I will be playing my wildcard most likely in game week 31. So yeah, so is WhatsApp, Gabe. That would be weird if WhatsApp was down too. Okay, that's pretty weird. But anyway, yeah, game week 31. The reason why is because there's a lot of fixture swings there, and it doesn't make sense to get wildcard in game week 30, at least in my position, because Spurs still have that very good fixture against Newcastle and Leeds have Sheffield United. But after that, their fixtures turn. Spurs will have Manchester United and then Leeds will have, I think, Manchester City or Liverpool, something crazy like that. So yeah, I'd probably wildcard in game week 31. And hopefully we have more news by then about more double game weeks like Everton versus Aston Villa, and also about other smaller double game weeks and blanks down the line. So yeah, that would be the ideal thing. Hey Dylan, I have Robertson, Cancelo, Stones. I'm thinking of swapping one of them for Dallas. Would you recommend Cancelo out? Thinking of leaving the third City slot open for either KDB or Diaz in the future. Yeah, I agree with that. I'll be honest though, because you have Robertson, I would get rid of him. I know he has very good fixtures up until the end of the season, but I still rather would have Cancelo. But I get that logic. You'd want to have someone more nailed than Cancelo as your third City player. And on a wild card, I think, what did I end up with? Something like either having Edison or Stones. Diaz, and Gundogan. So obviously 3 of those 4 players. And maybe if I do wildcarding 31, it would be going with 2 City players and maybe Kane. And then I can bench all of them in Game Week 33 and I can play the rest of my team, have an 11. And that way I navigate Game Week 33 and also have those City players and Kane for the rest of the season, which you probably would want to have. But yeah, I'd probably say get rid of Robertson instead of Cancelo. But otherwise, if you are kind of, not sure about having him long term and you'd rather have Robertson, then yeah, go for it. Aubameyang would be in for Salah from -4. And then I wildcard in 31. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, Ben. I like that. And Salah's just been blanking all the way. Against Arsenal, he has a good record, but recently he hasn't scored against the Gunners. So that's something to think about. But yeah, makes sense for this game week. The only problem is if Aubameyang is benched, which is a possibility to be fair. He did play the full 90 against the Olympiacos. And I have to say, Aubameyang was awful. That was one of the worst performances I've seen from him. He missed so many chances. Should have had a hat-trick, to be honest. How many chips do you have left? I've got 2 chips left. I've got my triple captain and my second wildcard, Kurt. I sold Gundogan for Lingard because of rotation risk and he's not as good attacking. Is it good? And also I sold Salah for Aubameyang, or is there someone else excluding Bale? I'll be honest. Gundogan is one of the least rotation risk players in City. But I understand that. In Game Week 30 he's got a tough fixture. Getting Lingard now for him makes sense. I've done something similar with Rafinha. But going forward, I wouldn't want to have Gundogan, I'll be honest. I'd rather have him, so long as he keeps on attacking like he's been doing, over KDB, Bernardo, and all these other midfielders. There is even Foden. And you sold Salah for Aubameyang. Is there someone else, excluding Bale? Yeah, as I said before, for this game week, Trossard or Grosh, Lingard, Rafinha, these sort of players, but the pool is limited. All Facebook platforms, that includes WhatsApp. Yeah, that's a bit weird then. Odegaard or Aubameyang? Based on form, Lewis, I have to say Odegaard, but Aubameyang is more explosive and he's the more kind of, reliable pick in a way. So yeah, I'd probably say that's a tough one. If you want to go differential, proper differential, then Odegaard, but maybe Aubameyang's my pick. I sold Salah for Aubameyang. Is that good or is there someone else? No, yeah, that's good, Kevin, as I answered before. Thanks, Dylan. Best of luck to you. Thanks, Gabe, and all the best of luck to you too. I think you're an Arsenal fan as well. FPL Animate says, the only stream I listen to, great stuff from one FPL channel to another. Thank you, FPL Animate, should I say Animate? And shout out to your channel, and I'll have a look at it soon. Thank you very much for your comment. Logan Nathan says, hi Dylan, will you start Areola or Martinez? Yeah, Areola, as I said before. 1 free transfer, is Dallas a good option or any other suggestions? Dallas is a good option. Also looking at Game Week 30, but there is Dunk. If you don't have him already or don't have any Brighton defender, then I would say go for a Brighton defender. But otherwise, Dallas is fine and he is still in my ideal pick, or should I say 11 for this game week. Should I transfer out Cancelo or Stones for Veltman? I'd probably say Cancelo because Stones saves you more money, less likely to be substituted on or off. So I'd probably go for Stones. Also, just his goal scoring record this year is mad. He's got 4 goals, I think, in the Premier League in 2021. It's crazy stuff. Cheers. I had already planned Robertson out, but thought about reducing City for Game Week 33. Yeah, makes sense. And or going to other City, leaning towards freeing up that City spot, to be honest. Fair enough. In that case, yeah, go for it. Get rid of Cancelo. That makes perfect sense. And if you don't have that wild card, then yeah, you know what? I'd go for what you're going for. But if you did have that wild card and you had the luxury of kind of changing your structure, then I would stick with Cancelo and get rid of Robertson and then maybe do the reverse later on. I have bench boost and second wild card. How should I be using my two chips? Ask Kurt. Well, to be honest, it depends on your team, but Game Week 31 looks like a very good week to wildcard. And as for the triple captaincy, any game week where there's a player like Kane or Son or Bruno Fernandes with 2 fixtures, when will that be? I'll be honest, I'm not sure, but Spurs are definitely going to have a double game week, so I'd say maybe one of those. And if you have Kane or Son, that's perfect. Carlson brought in Vardy, captained him and went from 120 to 65k. Now that's what I call gameplay. Yeah, and that fixture was very good. Then again, you look at Sheffield United, if they didn't sack Wilder, I'm not sure when exactly he made that move. Yeah, I mean, you probably would have fancied Leicester to still win, but not by 5 goals. Sheffield United have never been the type to lose by so many goals in a game. They maybe lose by 1, 2 or 3 max. But yeah, Vardy done very well. And then look at those people who captain Iheanacho. I mean, those people are the real winners from that game week. Triple Brighton defence versus 2 defenders and 1 attacker. I don't trust Brighton enough, either defensively or offensively, I'll be honest. But I'd rather have the double Brighton defence and 1 attacker. But ideally, I'd probably say 2 Brighton defenders and maybe no attackers. That's just how I see it. Yeah, Lewis, as I said, I'd probably go for Aubameyang. But if you want to go ultra differential, go for Odegaard. Cancelo to Veltman and DCL to Bamford for free, plus -4. Aaron Bissaka to Tierney, Aaron Bissaka, Aspi, Son to Bale without free hit, or just the 2 free transfers. Yeah, the 2 free transfers make sense. And then, yeah, I'd probably just stick it at that. Maybe Tierney, but nah, I'd probably just stick to that. Gundogan out and Aubameyang in for a -4, and Son out to Lingard for a -4 on either. Like I said before, with Son, there is still that very small chance he does play, and if he does play and you get rid of him, you'll be kicking yourself. But I'd probably, I'd get rid of Gundogan, or, I don't know which other defenders, or should I say midfielders you have, Jared, but yeah, I'd get rid of Gundogan for either Aubameyang or Lingard, but I probably wouldn't get rid of Son also. Maelstrom says, thanks, hope you recovered from that slip last week, saying, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Recent Spurs result helped a bit, I guess. Okay, just to clarify, North London is red, and always will be red, and same with London, to be honest. But yeah, I can't believe that still, that I said that. But the way I see it, maybe I reverse jinxed it, and since then, Spurs haven't won a game, so yeah. It is what it is. You answered according to your chip, Dylan. Lol, I have a bench boost, not triple captain. Oh, okay, you have bench boost. I'm not sure about bench boost, to be honest. I think the major double game weeks is when you really wanted to play it, but obviously sometimes you just can't get round to it. In terms of a bench boost, it'd have to be just a smaller double game week. I'm not sure. Any double game week, maybe the biggest one that you see coming up. Right now, nothing's confirmed, so I can't tell you a specific game week because there literally isn't one right now. So you have to wait and see for the bench boost. But wildcard, yeah, I'd say game week 31, 32, or 33 makes the most sense. Okay, is DCL to Kane, Salah to Rafinha, and Rudiger to Dunk 1 week punt? Okay, means I have 10 players, 9 not including Son, instead of 7, 6 not including Son, plus good luck to. Thank you, Mickey. Good luck to you as well. Yeah, DCL to Kane makes sense. Salah to Rafinha makes sense. Yeah, they all look good. And if it's for a -4, yeah, they look like great transfers. The only thing is that Rudiger you'd probably want back for that West Brom fixture in Game Week 30. Cancelo to Veltman for a -4. I'll be honest, that's not for me. I wouldn't do that. That's just my opinion. How did you feel that Arsenal won from last week? Asked Mickey. Very happy, to be honest, and complete domination. And I'll be honest, when they scored that goal, it was literally their first shot and they didn't have another shot for another 60, 70 minutes. I actually thought they would actually nick a point at least, or all 3 points. But thankfully, we took our chances. This is what we didn't do last year when we lost 2-1 at their ground, where we completely dominated the game. We gifted them goals and we didn't take our own chances. But yeah, the thing with Spurs, I think it's a mentality thing. You look at their record at the Emirates, I think they've only won once or twice in their whole history. So it says a lot. And yeah, the main thing with Spurs is their mentality. They just never have it. Even if they have world-class players like Son and Kane, it's just not enough. Just very happy with Arsenal. I'll be honest though, I'm mainly looking at Europa League. I don't care too much about the league now. It's kind of already done and dusted. What I want to do is build a platform for next year. But yeah, obviously delighted that we won that game. And we also won against Olympiacos when it mattered. So that's good. Cheers, Dylan. Should I bring in Bamford considering as Sheffield United, Brewster will be going out? Yeah, definitely. And if you're bringing him in this week, Bamford that is, then yeah, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I think he's a good captaincy option in both weeks. Hey Dylan, how are you looking, mate? Martinez, Dallas, Veltman, Target, Lookman, Rafinha, Kane captain, Bamford, Watkins. Not feeling confident at all this game week. Hopefully it will be very low scoring. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not confident either. My team looks good on paper considering what we have available, but I just don't like this team too much. But yeah, that looks good. You've got Kane captain, Bamford, Watkins, Rafinha. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. You would think you'd get higher than average Partha, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Thoughts on Spurs defence on the free hit? Probably Reguilon, if not Lloris or nothing. I wouldn't go for any of the other defenders. There's not enough upside there, and Villa still could score a goal. So Lloris or Reguilon. Other than that, I wouldn't look anywhere else, to be honest. If you have Antonio, would you do Gundogan to Aubameyang -4? We'll have no City midfielder for Leicester. Midfielders Bale, Son, Rafinha, Gundogan, and Bruno. Yeah, that makes sense. Going for Aubameyang rather than having double West Ham attack against Arsenal. Yeah, that makes sense. And Aubameyang has good long-term fixtures. The only problem is he might not play, so that is the risk based on the lineup that we had against Olympiacos yesterday. So just bear that in mind. Adiyita says, safe to double up on Chelsea defence with Rudiger and Aspi, Dylan? Yeah, if not Mendy in goal, I mean, just think about it. Martinez has been the standout keeper this season. I mean, we can all be in agreement of that. But looking at our wildcard in Gameweek 31, I think Mendy is probably the best one out of the lot. So, yeah, I would rather have Mendy and maybe one of Azpilicueta or Rudiger. Rudiger would be my choice because he's cheaper. The thing with Azpilicueta, that extra million does buy you completely nailed player. He plays every single game for Chelsea. So yeah, even then, double Chelsea defence makes sense, even those two you mentioned, although I would probably prefer Mendy at the moment. That's just the way it's going. But looking at my team, yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with the Kane captaincy, I'll be honest. The thing is with Kane, I do think the main problem I have is not even just 120 minutes or him blanking in last 4 away games. It's just Son being out, most likely. That is the main thing. If Son played, I think Spurs will score 2 or 3 here. But otherwise, they might even struggle to score 1. But it is what it is. Other captaincy options, I mean, just from this team alone, there's Dunk, Lingard, Rafinha. You could go for Bale, Bamford. I mean, there's just a lot of captaincy options. It's very open. But Kane's going to be by far the most heavily captained. And if you want to go something different, I'm seeing people captain Trossard. Fair enough. Pascal Grosch. You know, it is what it is. Aubameyang's still a good captaincy option. The only problem with him is the possible risk of rotation. But yeah, there's a lot of captaincy options this week. And you know what? Maybe someone I haven't mentioned is going to be the highest scoring player this week. So it is what it is. Welbeck could be the one who does extremely well. Who knows at this point? Partha says, mate, get a super chat option. I don't have the option to do super chats even if I wanted to. So yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, no. Either way, the content's free. You don't have to. So if super chats do become available on here, just feel free to send what you want, but you don't have to. You know, the content's free, and we just discuss football and FPL. I'll be your first super chat. Yeah, well, like I said, there's no super chat option anyway. Just you have to wait for YouTube basically to kind of review a channel. And to be honest, they haven't reviewed the channel in months. So yeah, there's not much we can do there. But yeah, if you have any more questions, obviously the deadline is fastly approaching, 16 minutes. To be honest, there's not too much to settle on. We all kind of have a good idea of how to prepare for this week and also going forward. And there's no bench selection headaches, is there? I mean, who has 15 players in a game week like this where there's literally such a big blank game week? But you never know. I'm not going to judge there. Some people are free hitting. If I had my free hit, I'll be honest, I would probably be looking to use it in a smaller double game week, unless I had maybe 6 or less players, or fewer players, should I say. But yeah, free hit in this game week makes sense, especially if you don't have the enough quantity and quality. We'll have to wait and see there, though. And Kane captain, I'll be honest, I'm not too sure. Arnab says, hey Dylan, is 9 players enough with Bamford and Son included? Well, Bamford should play, so you're going to have 8. I'm not sure about Son. I think he won't play, but there is still a chance. So yeah, that's definitely enough. I said this before, 7 for me is enough. The fact that Bamford's most likely going to play, you have 8. That's definitely fine. UCL draw, asks Wanja. Yeah, that's a good one. Bayern versus PSG, a repeat of last year's final. That should be very good. Mbappe has the chance for redemption after missing that big chance in the final. Dortmund against City, Haaland. That's going to be a good one, but I still expect City to go through. Chelsea, Porto, they probably got one of the easiest draws they could have, but Porto's no pushover. They showed that against Juventus. Even against City, I think they drew one of the games, so be careful with that. I think Porto could cause an upset there, but you'd expect Chelsea to go through. And then Liverpool without Real Madrid. I mean, we're basically talking about 2 of the recent winners in the Champions League over the years. So, yeah, that's going to be a good one, definitely. And then with Europa League, yeah, it's looking pretty good for Arsenal, but Slavia Prague is no pushover. That's going to be tough. Also, thoughts on my team. Sanchez, White, Dallas, Son, Lingard, Rafinha, Kane, captain, Bamford and Watkins. Yeah, that looks solid. You've got double Brian. Yeah, that's a good team. If you want to go different, you could captain someone else, but that looks like a solid team. How do I smash the like button? You just literally see the thumbs up icon and you just click it. You don't have to smash it. It's just an expression, just a critic. And I've seen you put a recent video. I'll be checking that out soon. Thank you for joining in. Play Lingard, Bamford, or Trossard. I'm free hitting, by the way. I'd play Bamford, but having an option to bench Lingard and Trossard, I wouldn't bench any of them, I'll be honest. Dylan, how about Captain Bale? Yeah, I think so. From Spurs, it's either Kane, Bale, or nothing. Unless you think Son's going to play, then go for it. And if he doesn't, he probably won't be substituted on. He's either starting or not, you'd think anyway. But yeah, I think Bale's a good option. I'll be honest though, I'm not sure with Bale. I mainly got him in as a short-term punt, and I probably already regret it, just looking at how he's been playing. Against Arsenal, he did one good pass, which, to be fair, did actually lead into the goal for Spurs in the build-up, but yeah, he's just been very, very poor. Dylan, pronunciation Martinez. Yeah, Spanish. Yeah, Martinez. Martinez is just the way the English say it. But yeah, that's just how it is. But yeah, I'll be honest. Speaking of Martinez, I want to actually get rid of him in Game Week 31. Let's actually look at his fixtures because I keep talking about Game Week 31. Look at that. Liverpool away. To be fair, you could still actually see Villa getting something there. But then City at home. West Brom at home looks very good. And that's also in Blank Gameweek 33. But then Everton away. Man United at home. I mean, just look at these fixtures. They're just so bad. Yeah. On a wildcard, I think I'd get rid of Martinez and get Mendy. It is a shame, but it is what it is, you know. Oh, same. I'm also planning Martinez to Mendy as my transfer this week. Yeah, I'm not sure about Game Week 30 because Martinez does have Fulham, I think, but yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't keep Martinez. And then for those on double Villa defence, I mean, you'd hope you have a wild card available, otherwise you might have to take hits to get rid of them. Out of Porto's 4 goals, one was Bentancur mistake, one was a Wall mistake, and one was a penalty. And with Chelsea defence, it's already over for Porto. Well, not necessarily, because Juventus are just a poor team, to be fair. They are a poor team, especially this season, but you can't just say, oh, this was a mistake, and this was a mistake, and then, oh, this was a penalty. I mean, Porto won those, incidents from their play, from their pressing and stuff, so I wouldn't go that far. Chelsea will go through, in my opinion. I'd be surprised if they don't, but you can't just write out Porto like that. Bobby says, do you show your face? No, I don't. Not yet, anyway. Bale, Rafinha captain. Rafinha captain for me, Wanja, definitely. I'd go for Rafinha over Bale. Bring in Lacazette or Bamford. I'd rather have Bamford, I'll be honest, because with Lacazette, he might not even start, and he can sometimes have a very good game and be the link-up for all the players behind him, and he doesn't get any FPL returns. So, yeah, Bamford for me. Yeah, of course you'd say Lacazette, just a critic. You love Lacazette, don't you? What are your thoughts on Game Week 33? Because I currently have 4 Spurs City players, just transferred out Gundogan, and no chips left either. What should I do? What's your plan? Well, if you have no chip, like you do, then yeah, I would mainly be looking at getting rid of some of these Spurs and City players. So in your case, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how many players of each team you have, but I'd get rid of 1 City player and maybe 2 Spurs players. So I'd try to have 2 free City players and 1 Spurs player. And that's just how I would go about it. And yeah, in my case, on a wild card, what I'm looking at is probably sticking with Kane and maybe sticking with one of Stones or Cancelo. But if not, then yeah, I might go for Diaz instead, just have that nailed player. And also have Gundogan in midfield. And that's literally it. So 1 City defender, if not 2, and Gundogan and Kane. That's literally my plan. I don't want to have too many of those players. Obviously, I'm not going to have triple Spurs for the long term. Definitely not. That was never the plan. Okay, but you have to agree the wall was comical. Oh yeah, definitely. That was an awful wall. And to be honest, I mean, the way they capitulated, Porto had 10 men. Remember that. They had 10 men. And Juventus still found a way to F it up. But it is what it is. Good evening, Dylan. Is 9 players a good number to attack this game week? I think so. Most people are going to be having I'd say 6, 7 players, and they might be taking hits to bring in some of the players you already have. So yeah, 9 is a good number. That's pretty much the same as the same as my team, unless Son plays, and then that's 10. But yeah, 9's a good number, definitely. If you don't mind me asking, are you in uni or college or something? No, I graduated from uni, and yeah, I finished college years ago. So yeah, I would consider getting Grealish since Spurs seem off it. Well, yeah, but the thing is with Grealish, he probably won't play. He's back in training, but not full training, so it's very likely that he's going to be on the bench, if that. To be fair, though, he's that important to Villa that they might just rush him back in, and he's got the whole international break to recover. I don't think he's been called up for England, so he's got plenty of time to just get over that. No problem, Eddie. Good luck this game week. Do you have a wildcard draft in mind? Salah and Jota based on fixtures, your thoughts? Yeah, okay, you know what? Let's do something like that now. So, I actually made a wildcard draft recently, and yeah, let's see what we can come up with. So, in goal, I have to be honest, I'd probably go for Mendy. Just looking at the options. To be fair, Leno has good long-term fixtures, but I don't trust Arsenal defence enough to really go there, so I think I'd go for Mendy. Maybe what I could do, I don't really like to do this often, but I might go for Ederson. That's just something that I could do. And in Game Week 33, when Ederson blanks, I do have Mendy to cover, so that's something I could do. Not sure about Stones and Cancelo. They make it so difficult to get rid of them, because when they do play, they're great, but the problem is they don't play sometimes. So might go for Diaz, just for that nailed Spurs defender. Oh yeah, and then Creswell. Creswell's definitely coming in, no doubt about it. Dallas would be out. I'd be going for Luke Shaw as well. So quite a lot of money invested in this defence. And yeah, I think I'd be going for Rudiger as well. Yeah, Rudiger. We can decide the final defender after. I think at one point I had double City defence and then maybe another keeper instead of Ederson, maybe Areola or something. And then yeah, Rafinha I'd get rid of, Bale probably get rid of, Son, yeah, probably get rid of Lingard as well. So I'd be making a lot of changes on this wild card. I think Antonio, it's a difficult one, but I do like those fixtures long term. So yeah, we go for something like this. So let's check the midfielders. I think Jota. Yeah, Jota I'd go for. I'm not really feeling with Salah at the moment. I'd get Gundogan back in. Obviously, I got rid of him this game week, which is a shame, but you can't have everyone. I'll be honest, I'm just looking at the options. I know there's Mason Mount. I just don't really feel it with Chelsea midfielders. You could maybe go for an Aubameyang or something from Arsenal. Not for me. Not for me. So what I might do... Yeah, Maddison or Barnes, depending on injuries. But yeah, you would expect one of them to be back. So Barnes would be in there. How much money do we have? We've got plenty of money, to be fair. I actually could go for a Liverpool defender. Yeah, that is actually an option, to be fair. I could go for Robertson or Trent. That's an interesting one. Yeah, you know what? Might go for a Liverpool defender here. Probably go for Arnold. I probably prefer him. And how much do we have? 9.2 remaining. I mean, yeah. Would have been nice, actually. Could maybe double up with Spurs. But the problem with having double or triple Spurs and then also triple City is that, obviously, remember, Game Week 33, there's a blank. You want to have enough players to have a starting 11 in that game week. But yeah, I'm not too sure about this final spot, to be honest. But you know what? Got to think about this one. I mean, Mahrez, actually, yes. I mean, that's pretty good, but I already got triple City in this case. Could maybe go for double Leicester at midfield, but I think one's enough. I've already been burned by getting Barnes in already. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about the last attacker. I don't like Villa's fixtures, that's why I don't go for Grealish. Otherwise, he's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about the last one, but something like this I'd go for. And then if not, I could get Mahrez in midfield, and I could get another goalkeeper for Ederson. And the good thing about Ederson is I could easily bench him, and I could still have triple City. But yeah, something like that. Captain Bale or Kane, asks Ismail. I'd go for Bale. Kane, sorry. I'd go for Kane. But yeah, Bale's a good differential. If you want to go different, go for it. Would you play Martinez or Areola? Asked Jacob. I would go for, yeah, Areola, as I've said all night. So yeah, Katie, hopefully that answers your question with the wildcard draft. Let me try actually find this last midfielder. I mean, Sigurdsson's actually been pretty good, but I don't want to be too woke here. Their fixtures are very mixed, actually, when you look at it, so I wouldn't really be feeling him. Let's see. Let's keep on going. You know what? I might actually get Mahrez in. I actually do like that, although you have to be prepared for rotation there. And then, yeah, too many players for City. No problem. 7.2 million. I can literally get any keeper I want. This is a tough one. I mean, it'd be tempting to have Martinez just for that Game Week 33 fixture, but other than that, he'd be on the bench all the time, and you can get burned by that. I don't want to have that headache, so... Ah, dear, this is a tough one. Very tough one. You know what? Yeah, maybe this, and then go for double West Ham attack and go for Lingard still. Just keep him. I think that's what I'll go for. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go for something like that. Yeah, but Mahrez actually, just the way he's been playing recently, I'm very, very tempted by him. But just not sure. The problem with Mahrez always getting rotated. Kevin De Bruyne is going to be the most nailed, but when City start prioritising the Champions League more and the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup final, then maybe the fringe players like Foden, they're going to get more minutes in the Premier League. It's a tough one. If you have any last questions, then let me know. I'll be answering them. But yeah, this is what I would probably be looking to wildcard to in Game Week 31. I definitely would want to have at least one Chelsea defensive option, but two, it looks looking very good. One or two City options in defence, that's fine by me. Man United, because they've been very good recently, sure has that attacking potential, the upside there. Creswell, the same thing. Trent Alexander-Arnold, to be honest, I don't know with Liverpool. Maybe that's something I wouldn't do. You could even go for Connor Cody. They have very good fixtures, Wolves, from Game Week 32 onwards. So could go for him instead. And that gives me more money to upgrade my midfield. But yeah, something like that. Barnes or Maddison, depending on who's fit. I would want to have one of them in. Gundogan I'd still want to have. Bruno's definitely a no-brainer. Even Harry Kane. But other than that, I'll be honest, maybe the attack, it's possible for me to maybe reconsider some of the options. Even Antonio, Bamford, because of the difficult fixtures they have. So nothing set in stone here. Even Jota, I might just end up going for Salah if he starts showing some form in the Premier League again. So it's a difficult one. And it's actually crazy, isn't it, that Salah was the top scorer by some distance, and now he hasn't scored in so long that everyone's catching up to him. It's crazy. Captain Kane or Rafinha? As I said before, Ismail, I prefer Kane for this game week, but Rafinha is a better differential. So if you want to go different and you want to chase rank, you want to have a bigger green arrow if it goes through, then you go for Rafinha, but I prefer Kane. Just got back from work, just in time for the deadline, unlocked my phone, checked my team, and only saw 7 players. Best of luck to everyone this week, and those on a free hit. Thank you, Dylan. Good luck to you as well. And yeah, to be fair, 7's still fine, considering how this game week is, the limited options we have. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's the hand we're dealt with. Reguilon or Creswell? I'm not sure, to be honest, about Reguilon or Creswell. For this game week, I think Reguilon's more likely to keep a clean sheet, but I prefer Creswell overall. So you know what, Christian? Creswell for me. And also long term, yeah, he's just by far the better asset, isn't he? So yeah, I'd go for Creswell. So yeah, that's what I'd go for. Last minute, basically, and our teams are locked in. My team is Martinez, Dunk, Dallas, Lingard, Bale, Rafinha, Son if he plays, Antonio, Bamford, and Kane captain. He's blanked in the last 4 away games in the Premier League, and he also didn't score in the last away game yesterday night. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. There's no standout captaincy option, even when you kind of think, oh, you know what, Kane's a no-brainer. There's no standout captaincy option this week. Looking at form. But yeah, thank you everyone who has joined in, and the deadline will be literally just seconds away. So just make sure you get everything sorted. Totally agree, Creswell definitely better than Reguilon. I'm mainly talking about FPL, but to be honest, this season Creswell's been the best left back in the league, along with Luke Shaw. Tierney, when he's played, also up there. And yeah, those 3 I just mentioned, in my opinion, the best left backs in the league, along with Robertson. He's still the best, although obviously not his greatest season. But that's just something else to consider. But yeah, Creswell's been fantastic, and I can't wait to get him in because he just keeps killing my rank. It takes the piss sometimes, but it is what it is. And yeah, hopefully Arsenal do score. Creswell blanks this week, but when I get him in, he starts producing the goods. And then yeah, West Ham can fly up the table if they really want to. Thank you, awesome draft, Dylan. Trent is suspect though, I agree. Look into your next Game Week stream. Keep it up, love it. Yeah, Katie, and I'll be making a wildcard team closer to Game Week 31. Remember, there's still the international break to go through. And yeah, there's more Game Weeks to come. Game Week 30, things can happen there. So I might change some things there. It's definitely not set in stone. And yeah, I agree, completely agree with Trent. I'm not too sure about him. He's burnt me enough this season. I think I started with him. Just didn't do the business. When I got Robertson, he was hit and miss. And then when I got Trent in again, he just failed to deliver in the only game I had him in. So, yeah, I completely agree. So, I'll be making a wildcard video, yeah, closer to Game Week 31 deadline, which is when a lot of people will be wildcarding, myself included, unless things change. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Thank you, Just a Critic. You too as well with your channel, your in-depth videos on gaming and shows. So yeah, keep it up as well. Thank you for the positive vibes. And thank you everyone who has joined in. Really appreciate it. And that is just basically Game Week 39, or 39, I imagine there was. Let's just get that over the way. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Share this video around with anyone who loves football or FPL. And follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Really appreciate it if you do. And just thank you for tuning in. And yeah, more streams coming in the future, more videos. But remember, obviously, there's the international break. So we've got plenty of time to recharge our batteries. And then after that, we've got the Champions League coming up, UCL Fantasy. Got more videos on that too. So really appreciate everyone who has come in. And yeah, all the very best of luck this game week. And just enjoy the football. Hopefully Arsenal win again. North London is always red. And London, same thing, always red. But thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.